And doing Lieutenant Richard Cannon, C-A-N-N-O-N, ladder 148. Early Saturday morning, coming home from a family party out in Staten Island, driving on the Bell Parkway. Two vehicles sped by us. Me and my wife and the kids were in the car. They sped by us, and we felt the car do a little tremble as they passed. We continued down the Bell Parkway about less than a minute. We noticed a large cloud of dust on the highway. As we pulled up, we've noticed two cars in an accident. One of the cars was on fire. We immediately pulled over to the side of the road. I got out of the car. I called Brooklyn Dispatch, let them know of the situation. Two-car accident on the belt with car fire. As I approached the car, I was still on the phone with dispatch. We noticed that there was one male in the front seat of the driver's side of the blue Corvette. I tried to get the person out of the vehicle. The door was pinned, so we couldn't get him out. I went around to the passenger side. We opened up the door. I reached in, tried to lift him up. His seatbelt was on. Disconnected his seatbelt. Reached over again, lifted him up. As we're lifting him up to get him out, his shirt came off, his sweatshirt came off, and I had to go back in with my two hands, pulled him out into the next to the car. At that point, there was a off-duty Maimonides EMT who met me on the side. He said, let's get him out of here. We then pulled the gentleman to the grass area, started working on the gentleman. Inside the vehicle, the fire was growing. When I was trying to get him out, we felt the heat of the fire. The guy next to me, the EMT, was hurrying me up to try to get him out. We got him out, put him on the grass. We started working on the gentleman. At that point, the FD unit showed up. It was engine 253 and ladder 168. They showed up. They started working on the fire. Started working with the patient still, and then at that point, FD EMS came. We started patient care. It was probably, it was quick. Patient care was efficient, probably the best you're going to get at 3 in the morning on the side of a highway. FDNY EMS did a great job. We assisted in packaging them, putting them on the stretcher, and they brought him to the hospital. At the same time, when 253 was putting out the fire on the Corvette and the BMW.
Michelle, questions?
Yes, sir. How fast was they going?
I'm not sure. I was driving the speed limit, and they blew by us. So it was fast enough that we felt, the car shimmy a little bit as they went by us.
So you're not just a hero. You're a guy who pulled a guy out of a car on fire, smashed, saved his life. That could have been your kids in the car, pinned.
Right. So that's what we thought about after the fact. And going back to what we said is, I would hope that any cop, fireman, EMT who saw that, even a civilian, would stop and do the same thing that I did. It's not just me. It's probably any one of these guys behind me would do the same thing.
But they could have caused a wreck.
Correct.
They could have pinned your kids. I mean, these guys were racing. They were flying. You felt the tremble of the car.
Yes.
What do you think about people who do that on the road?
My wife even spoke to my son that night about it. Said it was like a teachable moment, not to drive like an idiot on the parkway. I know the parkway wasn't a lot of cars out, but still something can happen, and it could have easily been us or another family in the car.
This rescue, I'm sure, is something unlike you've ever done before, because you did this rescue in front of your wife and in front of your kids. Can you kind of talk about that, your job, coming first in front of your family?
I always talk about the job with my family, my kids. My son has probably seen more than some 7-year-olds want to see, but we talk about it. There's no holding back on it. It's everyday life, obviously. It can happen at any time. So we just speak about saying, this could happen, how you react. That's how we're all brought up. That's how we're trained to do it. So that's what I try to instill in the kids.
And I understand you were off duty at the time?
Yes, off duty.
To you, that didn't seem to matter.
No, I don't think any one of us is ever off duty and not doing anything. If something happens, we all are trained and supposed to react and do our job.
Do you feel like it was kind of like the right place, right
Yeah, because it was a weird time. It was early in the morning, and being in the right place, right time, always has something to do with it. Whether it's out in the street like we were the other night, or same thing here, going into a burning building. If the guy, whatever guys are working, whatever happens at that time, sometimes it's the right place at the right time for anybody.
Can you talk a bit about the condition? Was it just one person in the burning vehicle? Can you talk? Was he young? What?
Yeah. So the male in the blue Corvette was, I would say, maybe about 30-year-old. He was unconscious when we found him. When I pulled him out, he was definitely having difficulty breathing. He was breathing though, but he was unconscious. And he had a deep laceration on his head. And when we, like I said, pulling him out, I'm not even sure if he was burnt from the vehicle fire, because in the Corvette the engine was in the rear. That's what was on fire. I felt the heat. I would assume if he was conscious, he probably would have felt it. So I'm unsure of his condition today, and see how he is.
And he collided with another vehicle?
It seemed like the rear collided with a black BMW or another BMW to the side.
Was that car okay?
That car was also on fire. The engine compartment in the front of that car was on fire.
Was the person in that car?
There were 3 individuals that, when they were getting out of the vehicle when I got there, and then they stayed in the back of the vehicle assessing themselves, and they never came over to the blue car.
So anyone else who might have been involved was accounted for?
Yes.
Yes, sir. And do we know how the guy's doing, Mr. Corbett?
Unsure at this time. I think they're trying to find out now, but unsure at this
Any
time.
final words? I mean, 3 guys in the other car. This guy, he had his seatbelt on, laceration on his head. You pulled him through the window?
No, I had to go through. I couldn't get the driver's side door open. It was pinned.
Other side.
I had to go to the passenger side, lift him over the center console, and take him out.
And you took him through the door,
Through the door, yeah.
which wasn't smashed.
Which that side wasn't smashed.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good?
Yep.
Well, good. Okay, Richard, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Good job, Rick.